Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to my class. Today we'll start Unit 7, which is on importance of transportation in global logistics. In this chapter, we will discuss the introduction of the transportation in global logistics, and there are some basic concepts we will discuss. Then we will discuss about the global logistics, transportations in global logistics, then modes of transportation. We will discuss the intermodal transportation and multimodal transportation in this chapter. So after completion of this chapter, you are able to understand all of these concepts. So before starting this chapter about the importance of transport industry, you know transport is a crucial component of global logistics, ensuring the smooth movement of goods across the borders, continents, and markets. So it is directly influence the supply chain efficiency, cost effectiveness, and customer satisfaction. And below there are some of the key elements, key components like transportation is essential in the global logistics. One is the transportation in logistics enables the global trade. The transportation connects the manufacturers, suppliers, and consumer worldwide, where it facilitates the movement of raw materials and finished goods across the international borders. So by this way, it enables the global trade. Second key reason or the elements we can say reduce the lead time. Efficient transportation ensures the timely delivery of goods, which reduces the lead times, enhances the competitiveness, and improves customer satisfaction. Third reason is cost optimization. Choosing the right mode of transportation, for an example, air, sea, rail, or road. To choose a right mode of transportation, it minimizes the logistics cost. Bulk transportation, the major bulk transportation methods such as container shipping, lower per unit cost also it reduces. Fourth is enhances the supply chain efficiency. A well-planned transportation network prevents the bottlenecks and delays of the different supplies. It allows the business to optimize the inventory level and the management of the demand functions. Another key reason is supports it in just-in-time operations. So timely transportation also enables the just-in-time manufacturing, reducing the need for large inventories. And business can operate with the learner supply chains, reducing the storage costs. Then after that, another is the improves the market accessibility, ensures the product safety and quality, the proper transportation methods maintain the product integrity. It also secures the logistics, reduce the risk of the theft, damage, and spoilage. Another reason is it enhances the customer satisfaction. The transportation, the faster transportation and more reliable delivery options improve the customer satisfaction. And e-commerce and global retail business also rely on efficient logistics for timely order fulfillment. Another is it facilitates the economic growth. Strong transportation networks contribute to the national and global economic development, which efficient logistics encourage the foreign investments and trade relations. Another key reason is encourage technological advancement. You know, Innovations such as GPS tracking, AI-driven route optimization, autonomous vehicles enhances the logistics efficiency. And technology-driven transportation improves the overall supply chain transparency. So these are the key areas, key factors of the transportation in the global supply chain. And the transportation industry is not mere a movement of the person and goods from one place to another, but it contributes directly in the overall growth and development of the civilization. In general and economy, particularly, the transport infrastructure is of great importance for the working of any economy. And natural resources like man, materials, it become productive if and only they are transported from the place of origin to the place of utilization. Otherwise, it is not possible. And the final movement of outputs from the point of production to the point of final consumption at economies of scales determines the success or failure of any business activity. And transportation also, there are some key economic benefits. It makes the products available to the final consumer. It facilitates the production by moving different means of production. For example, raw materials, machines, tools, men, etc. Also, it is considered as a key agency for the promotion of planned development. It provides the ample of opportunity for the acceleration of employment and income, which in turn creates the demand for the consumer goods. So these are the different key economic benefits of the transportation. What are the key benefits? One is it makes the availability of the product to the final consumer. It also facilitates the production in raw materials, machines, tools, etc. It is also considered as an agency for the promotion of planned development, and there are ample of opportunities. It creates, example, your employment, income, etc. And transportation is the main artery of the logistics and supply chain. Why? Because it moves different kinds of goods from one location to another. For an example, the raw materials can be transported from the suppliers to the production facilities and finished goods from there to the consumers. So transportation here plays a significant role in the supply chain process because products are rarely produced and consumed at the same location. And it is one of the transportation cost is one of the major constituent of the total logistical costs. So it is essential to have a proper analysis of the transportation cost, which includes the various elements. And normally, the share of transportation cost is about 40% of the total logistical cost. So any effort to cut down the logistic cost needs efficient and effective utilization of the transportation facilities. That means it is a trade-off with the other components of the logistics. And due to the competitive scenario existing globally, corporate enterprises are continuously under pressure to cut down the logistic cost and improve customer service capability. It is a challenging task. All the global business houses have recognized the importance of efficient logistics network for achieving two goals. So sourcing of raw material from anywhere in the globe to have reduced the cost of producing a unique product. Another is reaching the right customer anywhere in the globe with the right quantity, right quality, in right time at this reduced price, resulting the service enhancement. These are the two goals. So for this, there are some basic concepts are there. One is global logistics. It has assumed a critical dimensions for the business seeking the competitive advantage in today's interconnected world. According to Dernier, Inst, Fender and Covils in 2008, logistic is the management of flows between the business functions. In today's, the definition of logistics encompasses a much broader range of flows than in the past. Whereas traditionally the companies included only the simple inbound raw materials or outbound finished products flows in their definition of logistics. Nowadays or today, we can say this definition has included all forms of product and information and movement and information movement from origin. Origin means you are the supplier's manufacturer to the destination. What is the destination? The destination means the customer. The final ultimate destination of all these processes, all these logistics, supply chain, everything, it is the final destination is customer. So we can say it can include all forms of product and information movement from origin to the destination. And it is evident that global firms are transforming themselves to be more efficient and more effective. This is all to survive in the hyper-competitive markets. We can say a critical analysis of this statement identifies the transportation of either goods, materials, people, or information. It is a critical ingredient for overall global logistics network performance. And so it has become the necessary to understand the importance of transportation. So we have to understand the importance of the transportation. So what is that? Transportation in global logistics. It is one of the most important parts of the logistic management is transportation, as it facilitates the movement of a cargo from production point to the point of consumption. And time utility is created by the transport only as it affects the speed and consistency which cargo moves from one place to another. Other benefits we can say the good transportation are improved the logistics efficiency, reduced the operating cost, better service quality. So the whole logistics process from manufacturing through the customer delivery to the return order procedure requires the transportation. And features of transportation in global logistics, we can say there is not one mode of transport. Instead, it is multimodal. There should be coordination between the carrier and the shipper of the goods, which leads to efficiency. And efficiency of transportation leads to efficiency in supply chain. The main aim of global supply chain, 50 timely delivery to the final consumers and transportation plays a huge role in this goal. As the pace of international trade and technology is changing every day, it has significant impact on the transportation of the networks. It has a high impact on the transportation networks because every day the technology, international trade, different things are changing. So it is a challenging task. And the transportation plays a vital role throughout the logistics chain. It starts from idea generation and flows to design to engineering to the sourcing of the raw material and to receipt of raw material at raw material warehouses, to production plant, to plant warehouses, to retailers, through distributors and then to the customers. So transportation, it enhances the customer satisfaction, it ensures the product safety and quality, it encourages the technological advancement, etc. Now, let us discuss what are the different modes of transportation. As you know, what may be the modes of transportation? It may be by road, it may be by rail, it may be by roadway, it might be by sea or waterways. So, everybody we know these are maybe the different modes of transportation. So, based on the medium of transport, transportation is divided into the different types. We can say the ocean transport, sea or waterways, air transport, land transport, that means your road, rail, roadway, etc. And another is a pipeline transportation. We will discuss in each of the mode of transportation, the basic carrier varies, thereby influencing the other parameters like capacity, delivery time, travel distance and cost, etc. So now first let us discuss about air transportation. Air transport by air transportation. Air transport is extremely useful for many reasons. What are the reasons? It is convenient. First, it is very convenient. It is very fast. You know, it is very fast than the road and water. And it does not have to compete with natural barriers. Whatever may be the natural calamities, natural barriers, it does not have any compete. Whereas road transport is the quickest way to deliver goods that only have a short distance to travel. Sure, definitely it happens. Suppose it is short distance. So air transportation may not be adaptable at that place. So air transportation is the fastest option for freight that have a further destination. It is even regarded as the best mode of transportation for the perishable goods for this reason. Those who are the perishable goods, it is the best mode. Additionally, transportation does not require the infrastructure investment. There is no infrastructure investment that railways do. Airplanes fly freely, which means you do not need to spend the initial cash building a pathway to your destination for it to get there. Do you think there is some amount spent for that? You can say the road or any type of way for the aeroplanes or airplanes. No need to spend anything. Whereas in case of your rail, in case of your any type of transportation, road transportation, it is required. Unless and until you will invest in the maintaining and creating or constructing the path or mode, how it will be occurs. So the lack of barriers also means that it is accessible to all areas regardless of the obstruction of land. It is freely can reach any place. However, one of the main disadvantages is that planes can easily be affected by pretty much any type of inclement weather. Whether it's rain, snow or high winds, your shipment is likely to get delayed if any weather condition becomes extreme. And there are different advantages of air transportation, like it is very fast and speed. Here the packing cost is low, security is very high, and risk is also less. But it has some disadvantages. High level of freight cost. Cost is very high. size and weight, there is a limit. You cannot do, or you cannot load as far as you like. There is a limit of the size as well as weight also. Another disadvantage is the typical airport facilities requirement. Everywhere we cannot use the airport or airplane facilities. It is typically for the specific areas where the facilities available. Yes or no? Okay. Then after the air transportation, let us discuss about the ocean or water transportation. Basically, it is used the sea and inland. Ocean transportation is notoriously very slow, but that does not matter when a product has a long lead time. This is a great option for those looking to ship bulky items that are not in much of a rush. Often the cheaper than the road transport. Ships are usually the main cost that you shall incur. You will not have to worry about the road tolls and other similar charges, toll gates, other charges. They are not faced by in water transportation. The main disadvantage of ocean transport is that it can be difficult to monitor the exact location of the goods. Is it? Suppose you have import or export some of the goods through the ocean or water transport. It is very difficult to locate the exact place, which can be a deal breaker for some. And being able to track the freight is a common expectation of consumers who order things from online retailers and can affect their purchase decisions. While there are many advantages to the ocean transport, the downside of the lack of ability to closely track the exact whereabouts of the specified freight can be the crucial. So in this ocean transport, the advantage we can say this is a lesser freight cost, higher capacity. The capacity is more than other modes of transportations. There is no limit on the size and weight. There is no limit. Whereas in case of air, it has some limit. And here the lower levels of issues related to the environment. Very low levels of issues are there. But the disadvantage, the speed is very low in comparison to others. And here requirement of seaworthy packing. The packing should be seaworthy. And delivery is always liable to get affected by the weather conditions. It can be easily affected by the weather conditions. Need of the last mile connectivity to the customer premises. And here another disadvantage is there is a high and varying handling cost at ports. You know, there is a high charge of the handling cost, basically in the ports. After that, let us discuss about the pipeline transportation. Here in pipeline transportation, it is a generally useful for the transporting for a long distance crude oil, gas, petroleum products, etc. Because these things, what I told, crude oil, gas, petroleum, it cannot be transported, or it can be occur through road or air or the water. For this, a special arrangement is required, that is a pipeline transportation. And pipelines can transport the enormous amounts of oil and natural gas. The number is very more. And they are the more efficient at transferring these vast quantities of oil, natural gas than the conventional shipments by rail, truck and ships. So the advantage of the pipeline transportations are, it is highly reliable. Another is capable of transporting is huge quantities. Third is high frequency of receipt at the destination point. So these are the advantage of the pipeline transportations. But what are the disadvantages? The prone to significant accidents. There is chance. Speed is also comparatively low. Speed is comparatively low. And it is limited to a certain category of products. It is not all these. We cannot say in general we will be accepted this pipeline transportation. It is meant for some specific products or goods, like you can say the crude oil, gas, and petroleum products. Then comes for discussion about the land transportation. That means your road and rail. Here in this transportation, railway transportation is arguably the most dependable method of the transport. Unlike the road and marine transport, rail hardly affected by weather condition. This is hardly affected. And transport trains will run in rain, also in fog, in snow, and other conditions that would otherwise delay shipments carried by other methods. Whereas in rail, it is not so affected. With the fixed schedules that run regularly, railway service is more certain compared to other methods of the shipment. And in the rail transport also, it offers huge carrying capacities. The capacity is huge, which can grow to fit your needs. Unlike the trucks, which have a fixed space that cannot be exceeded. In truck, have you seen? It is a certain limit. The space is fixed. Additionally, additional wagons can always be added to trains if you need more room. But is it possible in train? Is it possible in any trucks or in any type of vehicles? No. We can add any type of rooms or type of added things in case of rail transportation. So there are these different advantages, like here low freight costs compared to road and air. It is comparatively larger carrying capacity also than others. And another thing is it has the ability to transport all types of commodities. Any type of commodities it can transport through the rail. But what are the different disadvantages? Here the disadvantages are lower levels of delivery reliability. Reliability part is very low. And if you want to package or if you want to deliver some of the goods in rail, a strong packing is required. Otherwise, there is a chance of some damage or loss. Third is poor material handling. Need of loading and unloading platforms also here required. Need of last mile connectivity to the customer premises, it is also required. And these are the different disadvantages. Then comes to road transportation. These are very common thing. All of you must have understood. We are all acquainted with this concept of transportations. Also, we are using this in our personal life also. So the most common mode of transportation in logistics is road. Is it? From walking to horses to wagons to bikes to cars to trucks, road transportation has been around longer than the mode and is utilized maximum than any other mode in logistics. It is maximum. With the continued improvement of vehicles and road infrastructure, Transportation by road is the most versatile of the different modes with the least geographical constraints. And this attribute of road transport makes it the very preferred mode for the smaller loads of over a shorter distance, and such road is the only mode that performs door-to-door deliveries. Everything door-to-door deliveries, it is also can a shorter distance. In every case, the road transportation is preferable. It is most preferred mode by the logistics, or we can for the supply chain. Then what are the advantages of the road transportation? Here the high levels of flexibility and reliability. The flexibility part is high and reliability part is also high. Second is we can negotiate the freight costs. Then there is a flexible carrying capacity, ability to transport all types of commodities here, like in rail. Then here there is a higher access to the remotest places and door-to-door delivery services. But except this, in no other mode it is possible to reach in the remotest place, to reach in the door-to-door delivery service. It is not possible. Whereas the disadvantage is this is less speed in comparison to air and water. Requirement of the strong packing. Here also there is a strong packing is required. Unless and until there is a strong packing, there is a chance of loose, there is a chance of destroy, there is a chance of not proper condition of the boats. Next disadvantage is it varies the material handling conditions, and there is a high environment pollutions also. There is a chance of pollution because in comparison to other modes, the chance of pollution is more in the road transportations. So these are the different disadvantages. Then let us know about intermodal transportation. What is that? Intermodal transportation. Here, from the name, what you understood. Intermodal transportation is the mode of transportation when two or more modes are used to transport goods from shipper to consignee. Intermodal, that means there is a two or more modes. It may be rail, water, it may be road, air. It is a combiningly, or it is a jointly. The mode of transportation occurs in that place. That is known as intermodal transportation. It is the mode of transportation when two or more modes are used to transport the goods from shipper to the consignee. And in this mode of transport, more than one vehicle is required to take the goods to the desired location, such as use of trucks, trains, ships, airplanes, etc. As McAndrew in 2017 defines intermodal as the movement of cargo from origin to the destination by several modes of transport, where each of these modes have a different transport carrier responsible and each with its own independent contact. The McAndrew defines this about the intermodal transportation. And this is very suitability of the intermodal transportation. What are the different suitability of the intermodal transportation? When the load units of the goods, it may be intermediate and finished, being shipped are less than 25 tons. It has been mentioned by Routray and Slack. And intermodal transportation is a good choice when long distance has to be covered. Basically, it is when there is a long distance has to be covered, there is a chance of choosing the intermodal transportation. When the value of goods being transported is neither high value nor a very low value. It means intermediate value goods are best suitable for this type of transportation. This is neither low nor high. So when goods have to be transported continuously and in similar quantities over a period of time, then this is the most suitable mode. Which mode? Intermodal transportation. Okay. And there is a Scholastica has given the following disadvantage of intermodal transportation. What are the different disadvantages? It is riskier, as there are several shippers involved in the process. As there is more than two modes are used, there are so many shippers are involved, so it is a little bit risky. And expenses on contracts and coordination are also more, as more than one contract is there. Because how many number of modes, how many number of shippers will involve, then that much number of contract will be there. So it is a quite expenditure. And more time is consumed to coordinate between the different shipper also. Yes, it will take more time, because to coordinate with a one shipper and to deal or coordinate with 5 shipper, to deal with the thousands or hundreds of shippers, it is definitely a time-taking job. It is a time-taking job. Next disadvantage is less speedy. Different modes are there, different categories are there. Speedy, we cannot say it is more, it is very less. Another is there is some additional packaging cost also involved here. There is some additional packaging cost involved in this intermodal transportation. And McAndrews has given the following advantage of intermodal transportation. One is lead time here is reduced. The lead time is reduced here. Inventory and freight cost are also reduced. Terms of negotiation are separated for each company, so advantage of lower rates can be availed here. Environmentally, it is environmental friendly. Carriers can be chosen and pollution can be reduced. And each carrier is accountable for the service being provided by them. Flexibility is there and shipment can be stopped at any point if needed. It can be stopped at any point if needed. So electronic data is an inter-organizational computer-to-computer exchange of the standard business document in a structured and machine processable format with the objective to eliminate the duplicate data entry. And also after that comes to multimodal transportation. What is that? Multimodal transportation. Intermodal transportation you understood. What is that intermodal transportation? That means where more than 2 modes are used. We know there are different advantages and disadvantages, but multimodal transportation, we have discussed intermodal, then now let us discuss the multimodal. As per the Multimodal Transportation of Goods Act 1993, the definition of multimodal transportation is transportation of goods from any place in India to any place outside India involving 2 or more modes of transport on the basis of single multimodal transport contract. The contract is single, but involvement is 2 or more modes. Clearly remember, contract is 1, but involvement of modes is 2 or more. And it is basically means one transport bill of lading or contract is valid for all carriers of modes, and only one company will handle the shipment. One of the most important advantage of the multimodal is that the documentation is very simple. The simplified documentation process is here. The advantage of multimodal transportations, we can say one carrier is held responsible for any problem which arises, therefore, this is a less risky. And time and cost incurred on coordination of shipment is very less. This is more efficient in terms of delivery time as tracking of the shipment is easier. But what are the different disadvantages of multimodal transport? One is sometimes more inspection of shipment takes place due to safety reasons, and it deters the operation. This is a major disadvantage. Although intermodal and multimodal are similar, in some angle it is similar, but in multimodal there is a higher level of unity among the carriers of goods, as it works under a single contract, what does not happen in the intermodal. So in contrast to the intermodal transportation, where the consumer deals with many businesses independently, the multimodal transportation involves only one company in the transportation process. And each party involved in the transportation of the product is responsible for some aspects of intermodal transportation. And typically, for a multimodal transportation, one basic package of documentation is created for all times. However, for intermodal transportation, you need multiple packages of documents. Whereas in multimodal, the documents is very simple. One basic package document is created. This is the basic difference. And now in this chapter, we have discussed so many concepts, like we have from the beginning, I am recalling everything. We can say first we have discussed the introduction of the transportation, what is the importance of the transportation and transportation in the global logistics. And in introduction part, we know that it is one of the mere movement of the person and goods from one place to another, what contributes directly in the overall growth and development of the civilization. So it has a great importance for the working of any economy. So transportation, we can say, is the main artery of the logistics and supply chain management. And it is one of the major constituent of total logistical costs. And we can say all the global business houses have recognized the importance of efficient logistics network for achieving the goals. And after that, we have discussed some of the basic concepts. In the basic concept, we have discussed first about the global logistics. And here we have discussed logistics is the management of flows between the business functions. And now the definition of logistics encompasses a much broader range of flows than in the past. And the definition has included all forms of product and information movement from origin to the destination. Origin means your supplier or manufacturer, destination means your customer. And after that, we have discussed about the transportations in global logistics. It is one of the most important parts of logistics management is transportation. Here we have discussed the time utility created by transport only as it affects the speed and consistency with which cargo moves from one place to another. And here there are some features we have discussed. That is, there is not one mode of transport. Instead, it is multimodal. There should be the coordination between the carrier and the shipper of the goods, which leads to efficiency. The main aim of global supply chain is fifth time delivery to the final consumer. International trade and technology is changing every day. So there is a significant change in the transportation network also, because innovations such as the GPS tracking, AI-driven route optimization, autonomous vehicle enhances the logistics efficiency, and technology-driven transportation improves the overall supply chain transparency. Then the modes of transportation we have discussed. In the modes of transportation we have discussed like the air transportation. And about air transportation, we know it is very extremely useful, it is very fast, it is a low packing cost here, then quality is high quality securities in the air, and less risks also there. And disadvantage we discussed, there is a high levels of freight cost, there is a size and weight limitations is there. And typically the airport facility requirement, it is also another disadvantage. After the air transport we have discussed the ocean or water transport. It is a notoriously slow. That does not matter when a product has a long lead time. Here the main disadvantage of ocean transport is that it can be difficult to monitor the exact location. It is very difficult to monitor. And here there is a lesser freight cost, there is a higher capacity, low limit on size and weight, and the disadvantages are the low speed, requirement of seaworthy packing, delivery is always liable to get affected by weather conditions, high and varying handling cost at products at ports. So about the water transport we have discussed this much. Then after that we have discussed the pipeline transportation. In pipeline transportation it is meant for the specific goods like crude oil, gas, petroleum products, etc. And this is more efficient at transferring these vast quantities of oil, natural gas than the conventional shipments by rail, track or ships. So here the advantages are it is highly reliable. Pipeline transportation is highly reliable. The capable of transporting is huge quantities also, and there is a high frequency of receipt at the destination point. And disadvantages are there is a prone to significant accidents also, there is a possibility. Speed is low, and this is a limited to a certain category. It is not meant for in general or for all. After that we discussed about the land transportation, and in the land there is two important way, one is road, another is rail. In the rail transportation we have discussed it is the most dependable method of transport. Unlike the road and marine transport, it is hardly affected by the weather condition. Transport trains will run in a rain, fog, snow and other conditions that would otherwise delay shipments carried by other methods also. And in the particularly rail transport, the advantage is here the low freight cost compared to road and air. And there is a comparatively larger carrying capacity in rail because we can add separate rooms, separate bogies here. Ability to transport all types of commodity. It has the ability to transport all types of commodities. But what are the disadvantages? Here, the disadvantages are the lower levels of delivery reliability. There is a requirement of strong packing. There is a poor material handling. The need of loading and unloading platform. This is also another challenge and disadvantage. And last mile connectivity is also another challenge. Then we have discussed about road transportation. Here, you know, it is a common mode of transportation. And here we can say with the continued improvement of the vehicles and road infrastructure, transport by road is the most versatile of the different modes with the least geographical constraints. Basically, it is a geographical constraints. This attribute of road transport makes the most preferred mode for the smaller loads over a shorter distance. And these are the different advantages and disadvantages, like high level of flexibility, negotiable freight cost, flexible carrying capacity, higher access to the remotest places. Disadvantages are like there is a less speed here, requirement of the strong packing, there is a varying of the material and handling conditions, then high environment pollutions. After that, we discussed about the intermodal transportation. It is the mode of transportation when two or more modes are used to transport goods from shipper to consignee. And as per McAndrew, intermodal is the movement of a cargo from origin to the destination by several modes of transport, where each of the modes have a different transport carrier responsible, which each of which its own independent contract. And in intermodal transportation, we can say there is a advantage like here lead time is reduced, inventory freight costs are reduced, terms of negotiations are also separate from each company, and it is environmentally friendly. Each carrier is accountable for the service, etc. And in multimodal transport, last we have discussed the multimodal transportation. Here in multimodal transportation, what happens? The transportation of the goods from any place in India to any place outside India involving two or more modes of transport on the basis of a single multimodal transport contract. Here it is the advantages are one carrier is held responsible for any problem, time and cost incurred on coordination shipment is very less. This is more efficient in terms of delivery time. Whereas one of the important disadvantages is sometimes more inspections of shipment take place due to the safety reasons, which is a major disadvantage. And as intermodal and multimodal are similar, but in multimodal there is a higher level of unity among the carriers of goods as it works under single contract. In opposite, we can say in the intermodal transportation, the consumer deals with many business independently. And multimodal transportation involves only one company in the transportation process. Each party involved in the transportation of the product is responsible for some aspect of intermodal transportation, but not all. So we can say the multimodal transportation, one of the basic package of documents is created for all items. However, in intermodal transportation, you need multiple packages, whereas in multimodal, it is single package or one of the basic packages. So these things we have discussed. By taking all these concepts or things, let us discuss some of the small cases. One is about the supply chain disruption. I am telling the scenario. A multinational electronics company sources the semiconductor chips from Taiwan and assembles products in China and distributes them globally. Do you understand the situation? Due to a sudden port strike, shipments are delayed by weeks, causing the production slowdowns and inventory shortage in key markets. So, from this scenario, to understand this case, the question is, how does transportation impact global logistics in this case? So you can see the transportation plays a crucial role in ensuring the timely movement of raw materials and finished products across globe supply chains. And disruptions like port strikes highlight the dependency of the logistics on efficient transportation. And companies must have contingency plans like alternative shipping routes or air freight options to mitigate such risks. So do you understood? From the scenario, what will be the solution? What may be the solution? What would be the solutions? Do you understand how the transport play a crucial role here? After that, see another case. Here, the case is about the cost versus speed dilemma. So the scenario, an European fashion retailer sources clothing from Bangladesh and it needs to deliver new seasonal stock to the stores in the USA within 2 weeks. So the company must decide between the ocean freight because it is cheaper and slower, and air freight because it is faster but more expensive. So here the question is, what transportation factors should the company consider? So we can say the company must balance the cost and speed. There must be a balance is required. And air freight ensures the faster delivery, but it is costly. While ocean freight is more economical, but it may miss the selling window. So here a hybrid approach using the air freight for high demand items and sea freight for bulk orders could optimize the cost while maintaining the product availability. You understand? So here what the solution? There must be a balance. There must be a balance as per the demand. Suppose there is a high demand item, we can use that air. If there is a bulk size, bulk orders, we can use the sea. Next comes to another case, perishable goods challenge. The scenario is a seafood exporter in Norway supplies fresh salmon to restaurant in Japan. Any delay in transportation affects the freshness, leading to customer dissatisfaction and financial losses. So the question is, why is transportation efficiency critical for perishable goods? What may be the solution? Please think, critically think. Transportation ensures the perishable goods reach their destination quickly while maintaining the quality. We can say the cold chain logistics, including the refrigerated containers, direct flight routes, that helps to preserve the freshness. And real-time tracking and efficient customers clearance also minimize the delay. Do you understand the case? The three cases we have already discussed. Now comes to fourth case, number 4. It is about the automotive just-in-time production. So here the scenario is, it is a German car manufacturer follows just-in-time production model, and it is only receive the parts like engines, transmission from suppliers when needed. So a snowstorm in Canada disrupts the flights, delaying the critical parts and causing the production halts at the German plant. So here, how does the transportation affect the just-in-time manufacturing? What may be the solution? Just-in-time manufacturing depends on precise and timely transportation. So any disruption can halt the production, leading to financial loss and delivery delays. It is just naturally happens. So company using the just-in-time models should diversify the suppliers, maintain the safety stock, explore the alternative transportation modes, and for an example, the air cargo to minimize the risk. So it may be a solution. You may think other solutions also. Are you getting my point? Last case is humanitarian aid logistics. Here, the scenario is, it is a major earthquake strikes a remote region, leaving the thousands without food, water, and medical supplies. Here, the relief organizations face challenges due to damaged roads and limited airport capacity. So here, it is the scenario, it is the problem, it is the situation. Think, what is the problem? Why is the transportation vital in disaster relief logistics in this particular case? So what may be the solution? So you can say in humanitarian logistics, speed is critical, but efficient transportation ensures the life savings supplies each affected areas quickly. And governments, NGOs should use the multiple transport modes. Multiple means you may be air, it may be sea, it may be road. And the pre-position supplies in strategic locations to respond the swiftly. So this is the probable solution. So you may think about this particular situation, the scenario, what may be the better solutions for this particular movement. So now we have discussed all this concept and these five small cases. These are the practical cases faced by the different organizations in recent past. So now what we can conclude? We can conclude that the importance of the transportation or the transportation is the backbone of the global logistics because it ensures the efficient, cost-effective and timely movement of the goods. And business that invest in the robust transportation strategies gain a competitive advantage, reduce the cost and enhance the customer satisfaction in the global market. So transportation, the role of transportation in global supply chain or global business is equal with the role of blood in the human mankind or human being. Without blood, a man cannot survive. Man can be paralyzed. Like that, without transportation, the global business can be paralyzed or will be paralyzed. This is about this chapter. I hope all of you have understood. Thank you. Thank you all.